Alright guys, what's up? We're going to do a clutch and flywheel install on a H22. So this is pretty much on all your H series and most of the F series that go on the Accords and the Preludes. And pretty much honestly, typically almost straightforward, all the Hondas are very similar to this, if not exactly the same. But specifically we're doing a flywheel, a lightweight flywheel, an XTD one, and an XTD Stage 2 clutch disc and pressure plate on my H22 here. I have the motor on the ground actually, just to make it really easy, just something simple. So first, what you're going to do is in your new kit, you should get a new pilot bearing. And now I've already installed this one, so I'll show you the pilot bearing right in the middle. And you'll get a new pilot bearing, see the part number on there. If not, you can always go buy a new part bearing or a pilot bearing from the dealership or any of your auto parts stores. Order it online. So basically this is pretty easy. Some guys put a little bit of oil on there, some guys put a little bit of lube. Either way is good, honestly. I've kind of just got mine in there without it also, so just pound it in there. But basically you're gonna want to hit it from the back is the easiest way. You can press it through to the front. I have seen people do that, so there really isn't. They recommend to install it from the back of the flywheel generally on most applications that I've ever seen. But honestly, I've seen people do it both ways. Basically, what I just do is I take a rubber mallet, I lay the flywheel on a nice soft, hard, firm, but soft surface so you don't scratch up your flywheel. Something down like a towel or something there, and you just give it a good whack a few times. Evenly, try to make sure you're pushing it down evenly so it's not, going in at one angle and screwing up your flywheel and your pilot bearing. And as long as you do it right, take time. I mean, it's in, spins right on there, no problem. You just want to make sure it's flush with the outside, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna take you over here, and we're gonna put this on and install the clutch. So give me 1 second here. Alright guys, so I got this on the ground. Now this isn't always going to work perfect for you because right now it's kind of balancing on the header. This is an older header. Still in very good shape, but it's not like brand new, perfect, unscratched kind of thing. So this normally I would do on a nice, something to lay down, or even just some cardboard. But again, this is going into the race loot. Not really too worried about it. So you do this however you think is best, but sitting on the ground for me, not a big deal right now. So basically what you're gonna need is you're gonna want a breaker bar on the other end, which I'm sure you can see sticking out past the other way. A 19 millimeter to hold the crank pulley. Generally you're gonna want someone to help you. I might have to call my wife out here to kind of hold it and stabilize it. We'll see. I'm hoping maybe I'm able to get enough foot-pounds of torque on here without the motor moving. You're gonna need a torque wrench. I'm sure you guys have got one. If not, you need to pick up one. Definitely vital for a lot of things on the motor. And you're going to want a 17 millimeter, and you're going to need this, I can't remember if it's the diamond or star head pattern, basically. 16 or I can't remember how many points. But anyways, you're going to need this pattern. I'll zoom in on there for you, instead of the standard pattern that you would have for your socket. And the reason why is that is how the flywheel bolts are. So the flywheel bolts have that pattern to get the ultimate grip on them and get your torque settings right. You're gonna want that. And it's crazy how I used to know this stuff and I always forget these exact numbers and points and shit like that. And then you're also gonna need a 10 mil in the same design for your pressure plate. So when doing this, you want to make sure that I've already showed you guys the pilot bearing on there. Make sure you get your pilot bearing set in, and it is recommended to not reuse the flywheel bolts. I don't recommend you do that. They have ARP ones, they have different ones you can buy. Although for this build, I'm reusing them. I've done it in the past. I've been just fine, but for safety reasons, just recommend you always replace your flywheel bolts, just like your head bolts. So you're gonna look for there's a little nub here hanging out. and you'll see it. It's the only thing. You got all the holes to bolt in your flywheel, and you have this little nub that just basically sticks out and retains and holds your flywheel in place. So you want to find that. You have a spot for that right here, and you're going to line that up. So once you get that on there, get one bolt in. It will help you out a lot, so you're not having this pain in the ass shit. But before you do that, let's hope she balances right there and doesn't fall. I suggest putting a little bit of Loctite, thread lock, whatever you want to call it, just a tab. I put the blue stuff on there because the blue stuff's not as strong. I want to be able to crack these back off if I ever need to take them off. I have used the red, and it just makes it tougher to get off. So, I mean, you use what you think is best on there. Some people don't use any at all, and I have done that back in the past when I just didn't have any. But it's recommended to use some. And generally, a lot of the times, the new bolts, like from ARP or from a few other companies, they come in. You don't need a lot. Just a little dab will do because it goes through. And as I'm screwing these in, I'm kind of putting them in a crisscross pattern. Now, when you tighten them down, you're going to want to follow as close to the crisscross pattern as you can. And that is so that the plate adapts to the motor nice and flush and doesn't, you know, get tight, over tight on one side and warp and bend your flywheel. So, do this really quick. That's going to be the sticky bolt. Okay, so now I got my thread locker glue on there. I got all my bolts in place. They're all hand tight. And now we're going to set the torque wrench. And if you guys don't know how to set a torque wrench, I'll show you here really quick. So basically, I am at, well, let's make sure it's actually at 0. It was at 0, but they may be playing around and turning it. Okay. So basically, it's at 0. You can see it right there, set. And this might be a little bit tougher because my stuff's spoke. Find a better video on there if you guys need it. But we're going to go up to 76 foot-pounds of torque. And here's the back side where you can see. So I'm going to look at it here and then adjust, and I'll show you guys where it's at. And it really just goes by tens. So on there, but then you have on the dial and the turn, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll know exactly where to get it. So we're going to go up to 70. And we're going to get it lined up on the 6. We're going to tighten this little bottom piece right here. Hand tight usually works fine for me. And now we have it at 76 foot-pounds of torque. So let's hope that this sucker stays in place and I can get them cranked down to that. All right. Turn. Nope, I didn't want you to fall like that. Turning. Damn it, keeps slipping off the one I'm turning. There we go. Okay. Let me line up this breaker bar here. There we go. Alright, now it's braced against the ground pretty good. So this works. go. And hear it click right there, 76 foot-pounds of torque. So, do a crisscross pattern. Gonna move my leg here because that leg I had surgery on does not like in that position. Okay. So we did the 2 there. So we come up here. Okay. Here. Okay. Like I said, you want to be in the best pattern you can, but sometimes I lose track where I'm holding it. Just don't tighten all one side at one time. That's basically your biggest thing right there, so you don't warp it. Stick to the pattern the best you can. Okay, I think I got them all. We're gonna go over them all and check them now. Good. Alright, all those are torqued now to 76 foot-pounds of torque. And my breaker bar held up just fine. We're going to leave that on there to get the pressure plate and the disc now. Now I've already wiped this down with a little bit of alcohol. And I suggest doing that just because they put this little bit of film on there to keep everything to look nice from any type of oxidation or rust if it's sitting in the factory for a while. Again, I have done it without doing anything and just burned it off. I don't recommend that, but hey, it is what it is. You can do it, didn't really hurt anything, didn't affect anything for me in the long run. Just was easier on the break-in period. Now, of course, some people say an oil change, some people say 500 miles, some people say 1,000 miles. I say be really easy on it for about 500 miles, what to recommend, and slowly get a little bit rougher on it, and then within the oil change, don't even worry about it after that, by the time you go through an oil change. But really, the break-in period, a lot of them recommend is about 500 miles to be really, really easy babying them. So, now, I'm going to put the clutch up there. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to hold it up there, and there's these 2 little knobs here and here that are on the flywheel. And this is easy to see. So you got, 3. So you'll see them. They're protruding out. On a stock flywheel aftermarket, anyone should have that. And what you need to do is you got to line your pressure plate up with it on the right spots of the hole, and you're going to make sure all your bolt holes are lined up. So that's something that is kind of self-explanatory. Once you put it up there, you'll figure it out. So I'm not going to zoom in on that or anything like that for you. But this is pretty easy, guys. Once you get those holes lined up, not gonna say I'm gonna get it on the first try, but we'll see here. And the pain in the ass about this always is holding your clutch disc and everything all together until you get it on. Okay, we're gonna try it right here. Now, if I were to put my pilot tool, there we go. Now we want to line this up just right in the pilot tool. There you go. So you can do that from the beginning too and slide the pressure plate over. My problem is I always get unlucky and snag the fucking teeth, so it never really works out quite well for me on that. So, like I was saying, 10 mil, you're going to want to tighten your flywheel bolts, and for the H22 it should be 16 foot-pounds of torque. 16 or 19. I'll put it in here for you on the screen. So this is centered as best as I can get it, I feel. You should be able to pull it out, put it back in, and have a little bit of a tight feel. It should be a little bit wobbly before you put everything down, so you're going to want to make sure you center it. And that's going to be for your input shaft for your transmission to go through. And it's tough to do, so sometimes you might be just a little hair off and you got to take it back off, loosen it up, adjust it, and get your transmission. You don't really know 100% to your transmission's on. As time goes by, you get a little bit better at just understanding where it's at and if you got it good. But don't feel bad if you gotta redo it 10-15 times for your first time. So we're gonna actually tighten these all by hand fully down as far as I can go. Alright, 19 foot-pounds of torque. Let's hope my breaker bar holds up to that. If it held up to 76, it should hold up to 19. But you never know. Alright, set it at 19 foot-pounds of torque. Same thing, crisscross pattern. Okay, it's 19. And again, pretty sure like I thought, it was the paint causing it just not to slide on those nubs as freely as it would without being painted. There's 19. So we're getting there to 19 foot-pounds of torque. And once I get all these done, I'll zoom in and show you guys, and then we'll do the throw-up bearing. And as you can see too, the teeth are coming in, so it's going to line your teeth all up straight, and that's another way to kind of make sure you know where you're at in case you lose your crisscross pattern, get distracted or something happens. And 2 more bolts and we'll double check all of them and should be good to go. There we go, 19 foot-pounds. 19 foot-pounds. Okay. 19. 19. Oh, that one was a little loose. 19, that's why it's a good idea to go double check and readjust after everything's been pushed down. So 19 foot-pounds torque on all, I believe it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. And I still can pull my pilot tool in and out. So it's a pretty tight fit. We may have to make some adjustments, but I really won't know until I get that on. But we'll take a lay down here and see. So to me, that still looks pretty darn even and good. but then again, the input shaft has to be just right, so we will see. Alright guys, I'll show you how to do the throw-up bearing really quick. This is pretty easy. Oh shit. Alright, here's your new throw-up bearing. Should have came with one. See, it's got 2 hooks on it. Let's pull the transmission over here. Slide that out of the way. This you can just do by hand. Okay, you guys see that? While trying not to hit my brand new pressure plate. So you just pull that right off. There's the old one. I didn't really have any problems with the old one, but it's always a good idea to replace it while you're in with a clutch. So it's better to have it done than, you know, have to come back and redo it again. So you guys can see me over here in the corner. I'm just pulling my fork out a little bit. You got to get it on there just right. You're going to want to pull the fork forward and then latch it on there, and then you're going to just kind of wiggle it right around, and boom, you're good to go. So you should have a little bit of lube already on there. If not, not a big deal. You really don't need it. It slides on pretty darn easy. So you just pull your clutch fork forward just enough, slide the old one off, slide a new one on, slowly finesse it back. You're good to go. Alright guys, I hope that helps. I know it wasn't the most technical video or perfect video, but it's pretty simple. And if you're a guy like me, I like just simple stuff with someone actually just showing in the garage. So by the time this video is all edited and put up, I hope it helps you guys out. Pretty simple and easy to do. Have a good one, guys.